The law of resonance: you meet no one by accident, uncover the depth of connection. What if every person you meet is not a coincidence, but a reflection of your own soul? This video explores the law of resonance through the lens of Carl Jung's depth psychology, offering a powerful invitation to turn inward. If you've ever felt like certain relationships arrive just when you need them most, or hurt the deepest when you're most vulnerable, this isn't randomness. It's alignment. Join us as we uncover how your subconscious attracts people who mirror your hidden truths, unhealed wounds, and unrealized strengths, whether they stay or leave. Each connection serves a purpose: to awaken, to reflect, to transform. If you're ready to look deeper into the mirror of your relationships, stay with us. What you find may just change how you see yourself, and everyone around you. The law of resonance: no one enters your life by accident. Every person who appears in your life carries a frequency that responds to something within you. It may not be visible, logical, or even conscious, but it is real. This is not about fate as fantasy, but resonance as law. The energy you emit, through your thoughts, emotions, wounds, and longings, shapes the kind of people you draw toward you. It is not randomness. It is alignment. You do not stumble into meaningful connections by mistake. What seems like coincidence, an accidental meeting, a passing glance, a conversation at the right time, is often the unconscious responding to a deeper need. Carl Jung believed that some encounters are orchestrated by the soul long before bodies ever meet. It is not poetry. It is psychic truth. The people who disturb you, inspire you, confuse you, or break you, all of them mirror a part of your inner world that is asking to be seen. The law of resonance reveals that your relationships are not just experiences to live through. They are messages. You are not simply relating to others. You are dialoguing with aspects of your own psyche that have been hidden, forgotten, or suppressed. To become aware of this is to take your first step toward conscious living. It is to realize that every emotional pull, every rejection, every inexplicable bond is pointing somewhere inward. Once you understand this, you no longer see people as random presences. You begin to recognize them as reflections, teachers, or catalysts, often for growth that your ego would rather avoid. This is not about blaming yourself for what you attract. It is about becoming curious. What part of me called this person in? What still lives inside me, quietly shaping my connections? The answers are not always comfortable, but they are freeing. Because when you see the pattern, you can choose differently. That is where healing begins. Relationships as reflections of your inner world. The people who come into your life do more than just share space with you. They reflect you, often without either of you realizing it. They mirror your fears, desires, wounds, and strengths. Some show you what you have denied in yourself. Others highlight what you have forgotten. Every meaningful relationship is a form of internal dialogue made external. You are not only me eating a person. You are meeting a version of yourself seen through their presence. Some encounters feel peaceful because they resonate with parts of you that are already integrated. Others feel intense or chaotic because they activate what has not yet been embraced. The easier the relationship feels, the more it aligns with your current emotional state. The harder it feels, the more likely it is that something unresolved is being triggered. Carl Jung suggested that the unconscious uses others as mirrors. This is not metaphor. It is mechanism. The connection itself becomes a symbolic stage where the psyche reveals what is still in shadow. That is why some people feel instantly familiar, while others seem to pull parts of you into awareness you never knew existed. To recognize this mirroring is to take back your power. Instead of blaming or idealizing the other, you begin to ask better questions. What are they showing me about myself? Why do I feel drawn or repelled? What part of me is being activated? From that awareness, clarity emerges. And from clarity, the possibility of healing. When you do not truly love the other person but the projected part of yourself. Sometimes what you think is not love at all. It is projection. It is your unconscious placing an ideal, a longing, or a memory onto another person. You are not truly seeing them. You are seeing what you want to see, what you need to feel. What you once lost or never had. The person becomes a screen onto which your inner world is silently displayed. This is why certain people seem magnetic. They activate something in you that has been waiting to be acknowledged. It feels like destiny. But it is often a repetition. You are not meeting them. You are meeting a part of yourself that you have forgotten, ignored, or idealized. And the stronger the emotional charge, the more likely it is that projection is at play. Projection is not a flaw. It is a function of the psyche. It shows you what still lives inside. But if you are not aware of it, you can become trapped in illusion. You may cling to the relationship not because of who the person truly is, but because of what they represent to you. A savior. A missing piece. A second chance. To move beyond projection, you must ask honest questions. Am I in love with this person or with the feeling they awaken? Do I know them or do I only know the story I have written about them? Projection fades when awareness grows. And what remains, if anything, is the truth of real connection. Not fantasy. Not need. But presence. The shadow within you always finds a way to speak through others. There are people who stir something in you the moment they appear. You might feel irritated, judged, triggered, or inexplicably defensive. These reactions often have little to do with the person themselves and everything to do with what they activate inside you. According to Jung, this is the shadow at work. The shadow is not evil. It is simply the part of you that you have repressed, rejected, or denied. And it does not disappear. It waits. It waits to return through mirrors. When someone's arrogance enrages you, their chaos unsettles you, or their selfishness offends you, it might be your shadow responding. Not because you are the same, but because their traits awaken something you have buried. Maybe a desire you never expressed. A part of yourself you never accepted. A boundary you never dared to enforce. The shadow reveals itself not through logic, but through emotion. It speaks in irritation, jealousy, resistance, and discomfort. And your first impulse might be to judge or walk away. But if you stay, if you look closer, you may begin to see that the discomfort is not a sign of their failure, but of your own fragmentation. The parts of you have pushed down are asking to be reclaimed. This is not a call to tolerate what harms you. It is an invitation to observe what affects you most. The shadow is not asking for punishment. It is asking for integration. When you understand this, your triggers become teachers. You stop reacting blindly. You begin responding with awareness. And in that awareness, you find freedom. Unconscious loops, when old wounds remain unhealed. You may believe you are making new choices, stepping into new relationships, living new experiences. But without realizing it, you often find yourself in the same emotional place, repeating the same patterns with different faces. This is not coincidence. It is the unconscious repeating what remains unresolved. Old wounds do not fade simply with time. They wait. They shape your perception, influence your desires, and silently choose for you. If you grew up feeling abandoned, you may be drawn to those who are emotionally unavailable. If you felt unseen, you may seek out those who withhold affection. These attractions are not random. They are attempts to complete what was left unfinished. The unconscious recreates scenes that echo your past, hoping that this time the ending will be different. But until you become aware, you are not healing. You are reliving. Awareness is the only interruption to the cycle. You must ask yourself with honesty. Why do I keep ending up in this kind of relationship? What am I truly seeking? What is the feeling I am chasing? The answers may be painful. They may point to a part of you that still feels unworthy, unseen, unloved. But only what is acknowledged can be transformed. You are not broken. You are patterned. And patterns can change. When you begin to see the story you are inside of, you gain the power to rewrite it. Healing does not happen by finding someone new. It begins the moment you decide to meet yourself where the wound began. Not to blame, but to reclaim. The subconscious as a mysterious magnetic force behind every encounter. The subconscious mind is not silent. It speaks through patterns, emotions, and the people you are drawn to. Even when you consciously seek love, peace, or stability, your subconscious may still be carrying unresolved pain, fear, or beliefs of unworthiness. And those inner frequencies attract what matches them. You do not get what you wish for. You get what you are aligned with, often without knowing it. This is the essence of inner resonance. Your subconscious acts like a magnetic field, pulling in people and situations that reflect your dominant emotional tone. If you carry abandonment, you may attract distance. If you carry shame, you may attract judgment. This is not punishment. It is coherence. The outer world mirrors your inner state, not to hurt you, but to awaken you. Joseph Murphy called the subconscious fertile soil. Whatever you plant there, through repeated thoughts and emotions, will grow into your reality. If you continue to feed it with fear, resentment, or doubt, you will find those emotions mirrored in your experiences. But if you begin to shift the seed, to plant presence, trust, and self-worth, your external world will follow. You are not doomed to repeat. But you are responsible for what you carry. The moment you become aware of your inner script is the moment it can be rewritten. You can no longer blame the world for at your energy invites. This is not harsh truth. It is empowering. Because what was once unconscious can now become choice. And with choice, comes change. Healing love does not come to save you, it comes to awaken you. Not all love is meant to rescue. Some forms of love are meant to reveal. Healing love is not about someone completing you, fixing your pain, or carrying your weight. It is about presence. The kind of presence that makes you feel safe enough to be fully seen. Even in your most fragile state. It is the space where you stop pretending, performing, or proving. You simply are. And that is enough. Healing love is not loud. It does not demand. It does not try to change you. It listens, witnesses, and allows. In that space, transformation happens quietly. You begin to meet parts of yourself that you once hid. You soften where you were once guarded. You trust where you once controlled. This kind of connection does not fill a void. It reminds you that you were never empty. But even healing love can be uncomfortable. Because it does not let you hide. It reflects your wounds with gentleness. Yet without distortion. It shows you where you have abandoned yourself, where you have silenced your truth, where you have accepted less than you deserve. And still, it stays. Not to fix you, but to stand beside you as you fix yourself. This is the love that calls forth your inner strength. It does not make you dependent. It reminds you of your capacity. In its presence, you remember that healing was never about being saved. It was always about coming home to who you really are. Everyone you meet awakens an archetype within your soul. Each person who enters your life carries more than their name or story. They carry an emotional key that unlocks something in you. Sometimes, it is the inner child who longs to be protected. Sometimes it is the caretaker who wants to offer love. Other times it is the rebel, the victim, the dreamer, or the healer. These are not roles we choose consciously. They are archetypes, ancient emotional blueprints living within us all. Carl Jung believed that these archetypes belong to the collective unconscious. And they come alive through human relationships. You do not just relate to a person. You relate to what they awaken in you. That is why some people feel strangely significant even before you know them. Well, their presence activates something familiar in your soul. This awakening can be beautiful. It can also be unsettling. You might suddenly feel more vulnerable, more powerful, more alive. Or more confused. Not because the other person is doing something, but because they are touching a deep part of your identity. And in doing so, they reveal what you have yet to claim or understand. These activations are invitations. They show you what is dormant, what is missing, or what is ready to grow. The person may stay or leave. That does not change what they stirred in you. The experience is real. And once an archetype has been awakened, it cannot be forgotten. It becomes part of your unfolding. Part of your becoming. Transformational love, when a relationship comes to rebirth you. Some relationships do not arrive to comfort you. They come to shake you. They arrive with intensity, pulling you out of the familiar and into a space you were not prepared to enter. These relationships feel like storms. They disrupt your routine, challenge your beliefs, and break open your heart. But within the chaos, something essential happens. A part of you begins to die. And another part is born. Transformational love does not ask for permission. It enters like fire. Not to destroy, but to purify. It burns through illusions, expectations, and the roles you have played to survive. It shows you what is no longer real, no longer needed, no longer true. And in that breaking, it frees you. You may feel like you are losing everything. But what you are really losing is the version of yourself that could no longer grow. That is the purpose of this kind of love. It comes not to complete you, but to dismantle what was never truly you. The ego resists. The soul recognizes. In the aftermath, you may feel empty, disoriented, even betrayed. But slowly, space is created. And in that space, new clarity rises. You start to rebuild, not from fear or fantasy, but from authenticity. What remains is not always the relationship, but the self you discovered through it. The one who could not be born without the breaking. Forgiveness is releasing the weight of the past to step into freedom. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It is not about forgetting what happened or pretending it did not hurt. It is not about excusing the harm or reconciling with the one who caused it. Forgiveness is about choosing to stop carrying the emotional weight of what can no longer be changed. It is an act of liberation, not for them, but for you. When you hold on to resentment, pain becomes part of your identity. The past lives on through your reactions, your defenses, and your inability to trust. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength. It is the decision to reclaim your peace instead of waiting for justice, closure, or apology. This process is rarely instant. It takes time, honesty, and courage. You must feel the wound before you can release it. You must understand what was lost and grieve it fully. Only then can you loosen your grip. Forgiveness does not mean the pain was not real. It means the pain no longer controls your future. You forgive to heal, not to forget. You forgive to move forward, not to erase. And in doing so, you break the invisible thread that keeps you tied to what no longer serves you. This is how you begin again, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Not with blame, but with peace. Everyone you meet is a fragment of your soul wanting to be seen. Every person who crosses your path carries a reflection of something within you. They are not just characters in your story. They are mirrors, messengers, and sometimes even thresholds. You meet people not only through chance, but through resonance. Each encounter awakens a piece of you that may have been hidden, forgotten, or waiting. Some people bring out your strength. Others bring up your fear. Some hold up a mirror to your beauty, while others reveal your wounds. All of them, in some way, serve the unfolding of who you are. Even those who leave quickly or cause pain play a part in your becoming. They do not define you. They reveal you. To recognize this is to shift your perspective. Instead of asking why something happened to you, you begin to ask what it came to show you. You stop labeling people as mistakes or detours and start seeing them as doorways. Each person is a part of your soul speaking back to you in human form. This understanding does not make every experience easy, but it makes each one meaningful. Because through the people you meet, you come home to parts of yourself you might never have touched alone. In the end, you are not just meeting others. You are meeting yourself, over and over again, in their eyes, their words, their presence. Self-awareness is the only key to truly owning your destiny. You cannot change what you are not aware of. Self-awareness is not just about knowing your strengths or understanding your flaws. It is about seeing the patterns you repeat, the beliefs you carry, and the emotions you suppress. It is about recognizing how your inner world shapes your outer choices. Without awareness, you move through life on autopilot, thinking you are deciding, when in truth, you are just repeating. To own your destiny, you must first face yourself. That means slowing down, asking difficult questions, and listening to the parts of you that are often ignored. What am I avoiding? What am I clinging to? What stories am I still telling myself that no longer serve me? These questions open the door to real change. Self-awareness does not arrive all at once. It comes in layers, through reflection, silence, and courage. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable. It forces you to see how you have betrayed yourself, how you have settled, or how you have been waiting for someone else to save you. But within that discomfort lies power. Because once you see clearly, you can choose differently. And choice is freedom. When you are aware, you stop blaming others for your patterns. You stop waiting for life to fix itself. You begin to take ownership. Not just of your pain, but of your potential. And that is when your destiny becomes yours to shape. Psychology is not weakness, it is the courage to understand yourself. Psychology is often misunderstood. Some see it as something only for the broken, the unstable, or the lost. But in truth, psychology is not a sign of weakness. It is a path of bravery. It is the willingness to explore the parts of yourself that are difficult to face. It is the strength to sit with your pain instead of arguing from it. It is the honesty to ask who you really are beneath the surface. Understanding your mind is one of the most powerful things you can do. It allows you to see how your past has shaped your present, how your emotions guide your reactions, and how your beliefs influence your relationships. When you understand yourself, you stop fearing your darkness. You stop hiding from your truth. Psychology is not about fixing you. It is about revealing you. It gives you tools to name your experiences, to rewrite your story, and to live with more awareness. It helps you connect the dots between what happened to you and what you became because of it. That connection is not weakness. It is wisdom. To walk the psychological path is to choose depth over distraction, healing over denial, growth over comfort. It is not easy. But it is real. And the more you understand yourself, the less you are controlled by what you do not understand. That is not weakness. That is freedom. No one enters your life by accident. Every person, every relationship, every wound or inspiration is part of the journey back to yourself. When you are brave enough to look within, still enough to listen, and conscious enough to choose differently. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become the creator of your own life. And from that moment on, every connection, whether brief or profound, holds a sacred meaning. Not to possess, but to understand. Not to keep, but to awaken.